riots breaking out in airports, A-10s taking off from a U.S. highway, and the FAA clarifies their LOTA for experimental aircraft. This and more on Taking Off. Welcome to Taking Off. I'm Christy Wong. We are brought to you by GoldSealGroundSchool.com. This week, chaos broke out at the San Juan Airport in Puerto Rico after Spirit Airlines canceled and delayed hundreds of flights, leaving passengers to fend for themselves. One unconfirmed report stated that some of those disgruntled passengers took to rioting in the terminal, but Spirit has yet to confirm the extent of that. What we do know is staffing for gate agents was low, leading to 3.5-hour lines to get alternate accommodations. All you have to do is look at some of the social media feeds to get an idea of how tumultuous it was. On Tuesday, 347 Spirit flights were canceled. That's about half, but company spokespeople attribute the cancellations to weather, system outages, and staffing shortages. The weather was bad over Dallas-Fort Worth, leading American Airlines, based there, to cancel 300 flights themselves. Rumors circulated that it was part of a crew strike, but a statement from the Association of Flight Attendants has denied this. We wish everyone at Spirit the best of luck and hope operations return to normal quickly. And if you happen to be traveling on Spirit this week, please understand that the employees are under tremendous pressure. So try to be kind, empathetic, and try not to take out your frustrations on them. Check your email and text alerts for travel changes and delays. Next up, the Michigan National Guard closed a portion of a Michigan state highway to test the ability to land and take off the A-10 Warthog on civilian roads. The Alpena Combat Readiness Training Center commander said, "This is believed to be the first time in history that modern Air Force aircraft have intentionally landed on a civilian roadway." It makes you think what they're getting ready for. Makes you wonder, what do you think? In other news, the FAA's Administrator, Steve Dickson, made some clarifying statements regarding the Letter of Deviation Authority, or LOTA, announced previously this year prohibiting owners of experimental aircraft to receive training in their own aircraft from a CFI. During the EAA AirVenture Meet the Administrator session, Dickson addressed the ruling, proclaiming that LOTA is a 4-letter word and that he's not any happier about the situation than you are. He went on to say that it's a document drill and explained it was a loophole that we had to close. He tried to assure people that the FAA is not doing ramp checks for compliance of LOTAs, however, that the process to receive a LOTA is expedient. He said it's really easier than sending an address change for your pilot license. Name, rank, and serial numbers, that is essentially what it is. Dickson said the agency has received a little short of 3,500 submissions and has issued 3,000 approvals, so we're turning these around quickly. In the meantime, EAA and AOPA are moving hard and fast on the legislative side to make changes in the law concerning this. Their hand was forced to go through advocacy channels when the lead counsel for the FAA stuck to his guns in a conference call with the aviation organizations.
All of the associations band together, and we now have a Senate bill and a House bill that dropped on the floor end of last week that will get this thing right-sided forever and for good. And it's being sponsored by Jim Inhofe on the Senate side and being sponsored by Sam Graves and Pete DeFazio, so both parties on the House side.
What do you think about Dickson's comments and the FAA's interpretation of flight training being considered a for-hire situation? Leave your thoughts below. Speaking of AirVenture, you may have noticed that I was missing from this year's fly-in. It wasn't in vain though, because I am back at my airline training for an awesome career flying one of my favorite airliners. But I do have the official Oshkosh recap. As you know, we at Taking Off have been extremely busy. The team has been pushing out daily videos from all the interviews and content acquired during AirVenture. So look for those to continue on a daily or almost daily basis for the rest of the month. All right, here are some incredible stats. Approximately 608,000 people attended. Only the third time attendance has surpassed 600,000 and within 5% of 2019's record total, and that's without all of the international travel. More than 10,000 aircraft arrived at Whitman Regional Airport in Oshkosh and the other airports in East Central Wisconsin. A record 1,420 vintage aircraft registered, plus 1,089 home-built aircraft, 354 warbirds, 148 aerobatic aircraft, 112 seaplanes, 33 ultralights, and 27 rotorcraft. More than 12,000 sites in the aircraft and drive-in camping accounted for an estimated 40,000 visitors. In addition, a total of 1,055 workshops and sessions were hosted throughout the week. Now, let's talk about the economic impact. AirVenture contributed $170 million for the 5 counties surrounding the Oshkosh region. That's incredible, and that area could certainly use it. So what's in store for EAA AirVenture for 2022? According to CEO Jack Pelton, planning is well underway for next year's event, including discussions during the AirVenture 2021 about possible features and attractions for 2022. We also look forward to welcoming more international visitors next year to return to AirVenture to a truly global reunion. In the next few months, we will be finalizing highlights in all areas to make the 69th EAA Fly-In Convention the world's greatest aviation celebration. I personally certainly hope to be there myself. What about you guys? Who all's planning on attending AirVenture 2022? The big takeaway from this, near record attendance in spite of almost no international participation. As we clear the pandemic, look for EAA AirVenture 22 to be record-setting. And finally, after 2 full months, the Wong Warrior is finally out of annual. This year we had several big things that were addressed, which meant lots of supplies were needed. I'm not sure if you're aware, but there's a huge shortage of supplies in almost anything in the world right now. Much of the Warrior downtime was due to waiting for supplies or for people to send those supplies. People have asked me previously what my recommendations are for a smooth annual. Well, my advice is this: be as proactive as possible. For example, I waited to do the trim tail bearing thing that we thought was a minor until annual issue because we thought it would mean less downtime. In fact, I probably should have started on that right away, ordering parts and supplies well before the annual so that it was ready to go, because it turned out to be a much bigger project than anticipated, which set us back time-wise as we waited for some of those supplies to come in. Also, try to address things throughout the year so that they don't pile up, such as the brakes and the tires, little things that you can get done throughout the year and not have to wait. And finally, work with your A&P and be as hands-on as possible. It's awesome learning about the ins and outs of your plane, like learning how the flap system works. And even just an extra hand for screws and stuff goes a long way. Fellow airplane owners, what would your advice be? Leave your suggestions below. Now, I would tell you how much the annual costs this year, but I'm not quite ready to verbalize that pain just yet. But everybody should be aware, part supplies are low, costs are rising, and your annual will cost you more than it usually does. And it will likely take longer if done right. One thing that I've learned about annuals is that you can have it done quick or you can have it done good. And I'd rather have it good, even if it costs the price of a new car. The good news is that I feel like I have a brand new airplane, and that's never a bad thing, right? We here at TakingOff are so grateful for your support. You can support us by giving us a like, subscribe, and share on our videos. You can also check out our Hangar Club, where you'll have access to additional features and discounts on our merchandise, like our new polos, and also my Patreon page. And don't forget to use our discount code TakingOff, all caps, one word, for 10% off purchases on the Flying Eyes website. I'm back off to study for training, so until next time, fly safe and we'll see you next time on Taking Off.